You're staring at your budget and you're thinking, I've cut everything and I'm kind of stuck. You're not alone, but you're not out of options.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
I'm Hope.
We're from Under the Median, where practical frugality meets real life.
So here's the truth. All of us have been in this position, right? Like you are trying to rock those financial goals, you're cutting back on spending, you're saving more money, and then you get to a point where there's just this plateau. And you're like, I don't know where to turn next. So in this video, we're going to give you 10 different ideas that are really practical. We have used all of them to help us get unstuck when we've been in that position.
The first item is to boost your income, even in small ways. And this might be selling some things that you have that you can get some money for. It might be doing a job for somebody that doesn't really take a lot of your time, but it will help get just a little bit extra. Even if you get $20 a week, that all helps.
You could also look at things like you could take on some side work. Let's say that you are someone who knows how to put together a website. You could take on side gigs. I did this a lot when the kids were young. I did freelance voiceovers, and I would look for those jobs when money got just a little tight. So begin to think about things that you can do that people are willing to pay you money for. Take on a couple of those side gigs, and you'll be surprised how much that'll give you a little boost and a little momentum.
Another thing you could do too is try a cashback app. That will also help put some cash in your pocket.
Let's just say you've had one of those apps. You've had it on your phone for months and you haven't touched it. Now might be the time to give it a try. For instance, Fetch. We love Fetch. You get points for every single receipt that you upload to Fetch, and then you accrue those points and you turn those points into gift cards from a whole lot of merchants that are available. We're going to make sure that we link Fetch in the description to the video. Here's the second idea. Tap into community resources. Are there places in your community that specialize in either helping people save money or helping people find some of these side jobs that we just talked about in the first point that we made? There are places like community gardens. There's this guy that like his whole yard is a garden, and he'll have these garden days where people can come by. He'll give you a sack of produce for absolutely nothing because he just likes to share with the community. Look around and start poking around to see if you can find some of those community resources. One of the things you might do is if you're age 60 or plus, a lot of resources available for senior citizens. So take a look at that as well.
Don't forget your library. There are so many different opportunities that your library offers you for nothing. You're already paying for those because you're paying for that in your taxes. So take up what they offer and put it into place.
Clothing swaps. I tell you what, if you've got friends, particularly if their kids are a little bit older than yours or a little bit younger than yours, getting together and saying, everybody bring their clothing that they're not using right now, and you put it in piles in the room, and then everybody gets to take what kind of clothing that they need for their children. This has worked really, really well for us in the past.
This next one is kind of a derivative of that, and that is free Facebook groups. There's a lot of groups on Facebook that will allow you to trade items that you have, and they'll have items that they're just going to give you if you want them. And this is a great way to both get rid of things that you have in your house and also obtain some things that you need for no money.
You can go to the Buy Nothing website also, and you can find Buy Nothing groups in your local area that aren't necessarily housed on Facebook. Idea number 3, try some lifestyle optimization.
Yes.
Do you have some things that you're already spending money on? We'll give you an example in just a second. That you're not using as well as you could, utilizing as well as you could, and it's actually costing you money because you're not using it. Here is a great example. Produce. How many of us have that piece of produce in our refrigerator that is wilting, that is getting slimy, that is going brown, and you wind up throwing out produce that you paid perfectly good money for just because you simply didn't use it in time? This used to happen to us a lot. And one of the things that we did was we instituted once a week where we do our perishable food inventory.
That helps.
We take those perishable things out of the refrigerator, lay them out on the counter, and then we create what kind of a list? Say it with me, guys. It is a prioritized list where the items with the shortest shelf life go at the top of that list, and you work your way down. The items at the bottom of the list have a longer shelf life, and they'll stay in that refrigerator and stay fresh for you for up to a few days or even a couple of weeks. Why is that important? Because you're going to take that prioritized perishable food inventory list, you're going to match that up with online recipes, and we inevitably, you get toward the end of the week and we would say there's no food in this house. The only option is takeout, clearly. And when we started doing the perishable food inventory on Thursday nights, because we knew Fridays was that like push-pull point where we were like, if you're gonna eat out, it's gonna be on Friday night because you finally got to the end of a work week, right?
Yeah.
And when we did it on Thursday nights, inevitably we were like, there is enough food in that refrigerator to feed us for 3 or 4 days. We literally had no idea that that was even possible until we did the perishable food inventory.
Hope has created a guide, and it's free, that will help you find areas in your budget that can help boost your income.
I walk you through 10 different areas of your budget, tell you how to save money in those 10 areas, and give you checklists. As Larry mentioned, it's free. We'll put a link to that free guide in the description of the video.
If you're enjoying this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber to our channel, subscribe, and then you'll get notices when we're going to do our next video.
And speaking of making sure you're subscribed, I have to say this. Our next video that's coming up on Thursday is our monthly coffee chat. You do not want to miss it because we have a very special announcement to make. And it has to do with the fact that we are participating in a giveaway. So that, yet again, is another reason to make sure you're subscribed to Under the Median, hit the bell notification, and YouTube will let you know when we drop our next video.
Point number 4 is give yourself a mindset reset. Sometimes you just have to back off a little bit and take a look from a kind of an outside perspective, so to speak, on what you're doing. So you're not getting so caught up in everything that you end up burning yourself out.
Have you ever heard that saying, you're just too close to the issue?
Yeah.
Because your perspective is skewed because you were so close to it. I discovered this like when I was in college. I would get so upset with the fact that I was unable to finish a project, and it was because I was so embroiled in trying to figure out all these details and how it fit together. But I discovered if I just got up, if I walked away, if I took a 30-minute break, when I came back to it, I was able to see it with fresh new eyes, and all of a sudden, all those pieces started fitting together. Your budget is exactly like that. You get stuck, and all you can see is, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. Just find something else to do. Find something free to do. And do that thing for a short period of time, come back to it. And I think you'll find you're able to look at your budget again and find those areas where you're able to save extra money that you simply didn't see before.
Our next point is find inspiration and support from others. This can really help boost your morale when you're in the middle of something that's very difficult. There are YouTube groups like ours that can help you. Our YouTube channel, we have so many videos that will help you get encouraged, give you direction, give you some solid ways in order for you to do what you need to do. Find a group maybe that you can get with, or a good friend that you can share with that also can give you their perspective on what you're doing.
Because like the worst thing in the world is when you feel like you're stuck in your budget and you can't figure out where else that you're going to find money to cut. And you talk to someone, they go, yeah, you're screwed. I mean, that is not what you want to hear. You want that person that's going to be your cheerleader, that's going to say, well, of course you can save more money, or of course you can look at this differently. Of course you can optimize this. You want the people that are going to give you great ideas and insight. That's what you're looking for. And that, of course, is why you want to hang out with us and make sure that you're watching videos from Under the Median, because we give you hundreds and hundreds of different ideas on how you can spend less and save more.
The next one is a seasonal reset strategy. So this isn't where you're looking at everything weekly or even monthly, but maybe say every 3 months. Just like there's 4 seasons in a year. There's spring, summer, fall, and winter. Those help us get a variety in what we're doing. So with those seasonal strategy, you can take a look and see what you're doing, and maybe what you're doing is following seasonal items.
Well, so in the wintertime, you know that your heating bill is going to go up. In the summer,
Yes.
you know your cooling bill is going to go up.
Right.
Here's what happens. And this is why we came up with this strategy. And this is why we talk a lot about the fact that we have quarterly goals. You could call them seasonal goals if you want to, because they kind of follow the seasons. Now in the Midwest, that's easy because we have 4 distinct seasons.
Very distinct.
But if you're living where you don't have 4 distinct seasons, that's okay. You can still have quarterly goals, and it's exactly the same thing.
Right.
We would hit a rough month and we'd go, oh, we are so screwed. and we would get, really upset because we would feel like
And
we were
discouraged.
stuck and discouraged. But we discovered that when we took a broader view rather than a very narrow view, and we looked over the past 90 days, we'd be able to see, like 3 months ago, we can say, oh, we rocked it. Where we hit it out of the ballpark in that month. We saved, we made some extra money, we had those side gigs. This was a fantastic month. Then the next month might be a little bit like neutral. And then the following month, when it dipped, all we could see was the dip. So life goes like this, right?
It sure
Life
does.
doesn't go like this.
No.
And if you are constantly looking at your finances from that dip, then yeah, of course you're going to be upset. So you have to broaden it out. When you do, you're going to see that a lot of times you're doing better than you're perceiving.
Number 7, try the cash envelope challenge. This is where you put a certain amount of cash in an envelope, let's say for groceries. So you know exactly how much you have to spend and you stick with it. It's a very finite way of dealing with these challenges.
Yeah, and we do it every time. Every time I start overspending on groceries,
Yeah.
we haul out those envelopes and it works like a charm every single time. Number 8 is the micro-milestone method. Here's what else happens. And you'll notice a lot of these tips that we're giving you, these are tips that are related to mindset, because that is super important when it comes to getting unstuck, right?
It is.
People tend to really play down the value of small wins. They only tend to look for those great big ones. And so all these little ones are kind of lost in the weeds.
It can get that way.
But sometimes when you start totaling up all those small wins, they actually add up to a big win and a lot faster than you think you do.
Yes.
And so you need to make sure that you are looking at things that went really well during the past 30 days. What did you do that you're like, oh, that was an incredible moment when we were able to spend less in that area? Once you start looking at those small milestones, those small wins, then it really does kind of refocus you and you realize, okay, we're doing all right.
I find too that this area can be an area of concern where we tend to make mistakes because we think, oh, this will only cost us $5. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up over time. If you say that every day, let's say for coffee, oh, that only costs $5, but it really does add up quickly. So little things add up over time.
I love how you said that because it's the small expenses and the small wins. You have to pay attention to both of them.
You do.
The small amounts of money you're spending and the small amounts of money that you're saving. Fantastic point.
Great.
Tip number 9. This is another one that was huge for us. I know I keep saying that, but this one really was. This was huge for us.
True.
We call it the values-based budget flip. Because you start looking at all of these things that you don't have or that you feel like you can't afford. Well, I can't do X, Y, Z. But when you flip it and say, am I spending money on the things and time on the things I value the most? Here's the quintessential example. When our kids were younger, we did not go out to eat except maybe once a year. We really didn't because we didn't have the money for it. But instead of saying we can't afford to go out to eat, we flipped the whole script and said, what can we do? What is it that going out to eat does for us? Well, it does give us a break, right? It gets us out of the house. Yeah. But more importantly, isn't eating out at its heart supposed to be about spending time together as a family? Isn't it? Maybe? at least a little bit. And we thought, well, that is the part that's important to us.
Yeah.
Getting out of the house and spending time together as a family. Is there another way that we can do that?
So we changed it by going on family picnics. It was much quieter. We could hear each other. We'd read books and stories and tell funny things that have happened that week. And we had a lot better family time actually by doing that than going out to a large, noisy restaurant.
So by flipping the script, we never, ever felt deprived
Right.
because we weren't going out to eat. Instead, we felt incredibly blessed that we had the opportunity to spend all this time together on Friday nights as a family and doing things that were meaningful to us. Always make sure that you are spending your time and your money on the things that you value the most. Write down those values. What is it that our family values?
This next item is what really helped us save up to pay cash for a house. It was a big win, and that was our 10% challenge. This is when Hope was telling me we have cut down all the items in our budget that's possible. There's nowhere else to cut, and we really can't do anything more to save money toward another house. And I said, let's take a little closer look at that budget, and let's just try to cut 10% off of each item. Now, 10% isn't a whole lot. It's not going to hurt you to cut something back by 10%. We're not saying cut it out entirely. So that way you still got 90% of what you're going to use in that area. That was, I would call it magic for our savings plan.
We found several $100s in that budget that 20 minutes before that point, I was looking at him saying, there's just nothing left in that budget. And I'm so glad that he spoke up and pushed back a little bit and said, I'll bet that there is some money. We just need to figure out where the money is in the budget.
Yes.
And if this whole idea of a 10% challenge intrigues you and you would love to see like a step-by-step example of exactly how the 10% challenge works and examples of where we found that 10% savings, we did a whole video for you, and the video is right over there. Watch it next.